So I was on a group call with my clients last night, and we talked about the importance of the process, right? Because a lot of people, they get caught up in the outcome, right? Chasing the outcome, the end success, whatever that is, right? Financially, whether it's like building, your dream physique, your dream life, things like that, right? And I talked to them about the importance of the process in character development, right? Because what you attract into your life is because you're the person capable of attracting it, capable of achieving it, right? And so over time, right, the reason why you have the things that you do is because your character development is at that stage, right? For me, right now, this bulk, right, this growing phase that I'm in, it looks completely different from my previous growing phase. Why? Because I have the habits, I have the discipline to do it the right way, to stay consistent, to consistently get after it and do the things I'm supposed to do, right? Same thing for when I was on prep in my previous cut before that. Those two pictures look extremely different. And the reason for that is because of the character development. You see, over time, when you have this reality in your mind, right, whatever it is, whether it's, making more money, like I said, building that dream physique, the reason you're at where you are is because that's the person who is capable of achieving your current standpoint, right? You will never be ready to experience, to have what you haven't gone through yet, right? You have to be willing to be open-minded. You have to be willing to understand where you go wrong, what you suffer from, right? What you struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and build those habits and build those characteristics of the person you want to be who is capable of achieving those things in your own life. This kind of goes into the law of attraction, right? What you attract is the things that the person you are is capable of attracting, right? If you're in better shape, you have more confidence, right? With being in better shape and having more confidence, you have more opportunities. A lot of the time, like, I never saw myself being in this position. But as I started to develop my character, right, more opportunities were brought forth to me, right? Because I was taking the initiative to better myself, to better my mind, to better my body. And as I started to implement these things into my life, build these habits, right, these disciplines, understand how my mind works, understand how to get through certain struggles, I started to see more opportunities because of my efforts, right? If you try to focus solely on the goal and attracting the goal, you're never going to attract it. You're just going to keep chasing something. If there's no action, there's no development to get better, how do you expect to attract the outcomes? How do you even expect to have a good enough why, right? If you are solely focused on the outcome, right? You don't have a solid enough why to continuously develop who you are. If all you're thinking about is being rich, if all you're thinking about is being jacked, looking good because it would be nice, how do you think that's going to affect your day-to-day decisions? When you want to hit the snooze button, when you want to skip a workout, when you want to skip an assignment, when you want to skip, recreating content, whatever it is, it's a lot harder to continuously execute on the things you're supposed to do when you don't feel like it, when you have a shallow why, right? If you are constantly just chasing the outcome, it's never going to truly fulfill you enough to get after it. Because the biggest thing, and you're told this all the time, is that you have to do what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. But if you have a shallow reason for doing it, right, and you're not focused more so on the inputs, on the characteristics of you, you're never going to get to those things, right? We talked about this as well in the call last night. Your success is an accumulation of your efforts, right? What you're doing right now, like for example, New Year's resolutionists, right? They think that if they go super hard for like 2 weeks into the new year, that they're just magically going to build a great physique, right? They're going to magically improve their life. But the truth is that what you do today, you're not going to receive the outcome until later down the line. It's inevitable, right? Today's efforts don't correlate with today's results. Today's results correlate with the accumulation of your past efforts from consistently executing every single day, regardless of how you feel, right? Because that's how you build that character development. If you don't root those into your existence, if you don't root those into your mind, into who you are, you won't see the results from it, right? Because they're not truly the person that you are. They haven't become a part of what you do into your life. And so I feel like that's why a lot of people don't see the results. They never get to where they want to be because it's a constant restarting of efforts, right? And so they aren't developing anything. They're trying to develop, they're starting that development, but by never rooting them and never sticking with them consistently for long enough, they never truly change you into the person who is capable of achieving those things that you see for yourself. And it's so frustrating, right? Because you're not going to see those results right away. It comes from months, years, even possibly decades, right? For a lot bigger goals to see any results. A lot of the time, well, pretty much all the time, the goals that you have, the dreams that you have, those big, like, fulfilling realities that you see for yourself, they were given to you by God, right? They're not there for some, reason, just some random reason, right? A true goal reality, backed with a true why, right, comes from your life, comes from what you've experienced, your setbacks, right? And God gives you those dreams. But if you don't act on them and you do them for selfish reasons, you're never going to get there. You're never going to, right? And for me, right, like I said, I would never imagine myself in this position. I never would have. But by consistently executing, consistently working on what I struggled with, the opportunities began to open. I started to make a little bit more money with my coaching business. I started to see better improvements in my physique, not from just getting after it for a week, but by the accumulation of my efforts over time, the results started to grow. I didn't make my first dollar online for probably a year and a half. I didn't start making money with my coaching business for a year. I didn't sell my first high ticket for a year and a half, 2 years, something crazy like that, right? And it's like, I, at the moment, was so frustrated because all I could think of was the outcome, right? But when I reflected and I understood why I was doing it, and my mentor helped me with this, he was like, what is the reason why you want to achieve this goal? Physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. And it made me reflect. Instead of just being like, yeah, I just want to make some money online. I want to just do something that I like, right? I want to just get into better shape so I can look cool. I had a solid reason. But it took me being open-minded and taking a step back and understanding why or how did I get here in the first place? What truly sparked this ambition? And once you can kind of dial that in, you understand the reasoning behind what you're doing, and it creates a relentless effort, a relentless drive into everything that you do. But you can only start to grow from creating that accumulation of your efforts, right? Not what you do today, but you are rewarded for what you've been doing for a while. And the same thing goes. If you're not seeing the rewards you want, and you look back on your actions over the past year, past couple months, whatever it is, and you're like, wow, I really deserve the position that I'm in. I deserve the physique. I deserve the financial standpoint. I deserve, where I'm at mentally. Everything, right? You have to kind of look at it like that, because if you sit in the victim mentality and think, oh man, like, this is just from my circumstances. This is just from what I was born into, right? Not having a rich family, not having good genetics, not having this, blah, 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 blah. Those people have it better than me because they were born into whatever, right? Everything just aligned, the stars aligned for them. If you think like that, I'm going to tell you right now, you might as well not even try. You might as well just give it up. Because you have to understand that what you do determines where you are, right? But it's also what you have done roots you into that person that you are today. And if you're unsatisfied with your position, it's going to take a significant amount of time to shape yourself, because you've already been alive for a while, right? You've already had these past experiences, been rooted in your decisions, been making these different things into your life. And so it's going to take time to change it. You can't change years of actions, right, and development in 1 week, in a couple months. It takes time. And once you can understand this, that's when the doors open. That's when the doors open. And you start to get rewarded for your efforts, right? But if all you're focusing on is the effort, or is the outcomes, right? In the current situation you're in, rather than focusing on the inputs and executing every single day, regardless of the return, it will set you up for so much more. Never would have imagined I've been in this position. And I'm not where I want to be. Don't get me wrong. I am not where I want to be at all. Right? But I've seen what's possible from going from a year, 2 years of working and getting to where I am today. It just opens my mind to the possibilities. But you have to work long enough. You have to be consistent long enough to get that first taste of that success, of those rewards. And once you see that it's possible from the accumulation of your efforts, that's when it clicks. But not a lot of people can get to that point. Not a lot of people can stay in the game long enough. You have to think it's literally a video game. The more you slay monsters, the more quests you do, right? The more dungeons you take over, right? The more experience you have, the better you get at what you do. And over time, that progress compounds and compounds and compounds and compounds. And then you look back and you're like, wow, imagine if I never started. Imagine if I didn't even go and do that first dungeon. If I didn't do that first quest. Same thing with life. Imagine if I never took that one opportunity and put my head down and started to get after it, regardless of how I felt. Because I know that it's not purely about the outcomes and the results. It's the bettering of the individual that you are, and changing and shaping and learning and growing into becoming the individual you see yourself as. And that process is addicting. It's so addicting, right? Because you understand that the outcomes and the reality of your choices, they're in your hands, right? They're in God's hands. They're in God's will, right? He gives you those dreams. He gives you the opportunity to go and chase them, but you have to take the action. You have to put in the work, right? God's not just going to bless you with these things just because you think about him, just because you pray about him. You have to take the action, right? You have to go and do with what you're given in order to receive the results. It's kind of like the parables. I forgot which one it was. It was the parable of like the rich man, and he like gave money to each of his servants, right? The one guy went out with 5 pieces of silver and he came back with 10, right? He worked for it, he traded and invested, whatever it was, and he came back to his master with 10. The other guy went out with 2. The master gave him 2 silver. He went out and he doubled it, right? Invested it, did whatever he had to do, and brought 4 back to his master. And the guy that was given 1 silver, right? He went out and he just hid it, right? He wanted to keep it safe. He played life safe. So when his master came back, he could just give him back his 1 silver. But when he did that, the master was like, you're a wicked servant, right? With what I gave you, you didn't even go out and try to do or take the opportunities with that 1 piece of silver, right? That's exactly how it is. Regardless of the opportunities you're given, you have to go out and chase them. You have to go out and execute, right? Because if all you're doing is focusing purely on your circumstances, right, and the situation you're in, and trying to just, it'd be nice to have these outcomes. It'd be nice to have this car. It'd be nice to have a better career. It'd be nice to, be in a better relationship, whatever it is. No, it's up to you. But that's just something I want to talk about today. I just had the motivation and the drive to just express those thoughts. It's like, what is it, 8:30 in the morning right now? Went in, worked out with my boy this morning, and yeah, we're getting after it every single day. If you guys are interested in one-on-one fitness coaching as well, I do have a couple spots open for February. You can use the booking link in the description if you want to book a call with me. But yeah, man, I hope this video was beneficial and that it helped you understand the importance of the accumulation of your efforts in everything that you do, right? In the relentless drive to consistently execute regardless of the outcome. Because eventually, though, you will be rewarded for that. But it takes time and it takes consistent effort. And if you don't have a long enough period of time to change who you are, you're never going to grow. You're never going to escape that loop. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.